PHOBIAS. The clowns performed a series of terrifying magic at America's Got Talent, and everybody was shocked and amazed to seeing such a breathtaking performances. In this video, we will reveal all the secrets and techniques behind these amazing performances. Let's have a simple review of the magic. PHOBIAS were on stage heavily dressed on their clown's costumes. The lady amongst them walked up front, and her male colleague walked behind her and inserted his hand through her stomach, and the lady screamed for help. He quickly withdrew his hands off her stomach in a scary manner, leaving the audience in awe. The audience thought the lady would not survive, but she quickly ran and jumped into the box that was held by one of the PHOBIAS right from the beginning of the show. The lady jumped into the box, and she disappeared without trace while the box was still empty before they closed the box. After the lady had vanished, they took a wooden box straight down to the judges. One of the clowns brought out a Rubik's Cube and gave to Sophia. An instruction was showed to Sophia, written on the arm of one of the clowns, which stated, "Mix the Rubik's Cube." Sophia mixed the Rubik's Cube randomly and handed it over to one of the PHOBIAS. He then took the Rubik's Cube and went straight to the box that he kept on the ground and brought out a tray. He kept the tray in front of the judges and dropped the Rubik's Cube on the tray. Instantly, the unexpected happened. The Rubik's Cube turned into worms. Next, both of them went up on stage, and in one of them went and rolled his hand on the chair. On going back, both of them pointed to the chair simultaneously, and a doll clown appeared. They took the doll and ripped it into two parts. One of them held the upper part of the doll, while the other held the lower part of it. Suddenly, a half body of one of the clowns was seen walking into the stage. Only the waist level to the legs were visible. An explosive canister was also seen on top of the table. From the right-hand side, the upper body of the lady clown that disappeared was seen being pushed into the stage on a trolley by one of them from right to left. A yellow wire was connected from the switch, which was placed on the trolley, to the canister. One of them entered the box that was placed on the stage, and the door was closed. One of the PHOBIAS took the wire, which was connected to the switch on the trolley, and plugged it to the canister. He took it and gave it to his colleague inside the box. The lady clown then pressed the switch and ignited the canister to explode. When the box was opened, the clown inside the box was nowhere to be seen. Everyone was in shock to witness such an incredible act. To the surprise of the judges, the clown that vanished from the box after the explosion appeared right in front of the judges doing some clown stuffs. But how did the PHOBIAS perform this amazing hair-raising magic? Think no further. In this video, we will reveal all the secrets to you. But before we go on, please support us by subscribing to our channel and also like and share this video. First, the inserting of hand through the stomach of the lady was not real. Her costume had an opening at the back, and also with a clear opening in front. When her colleague was about to insert his hand through her stomach, it was clearly seen that the lady opened her jacket, and her colleague inserted his hand through the opening at the back of a jacket, and protruded out at the front of her jacket. This gave the impression that his hand passed through her back and protruded out of her stomach. On the lady disappearing after jumping into the box there had an opening at the end of it. It was not like a regular box, which normally has the inner base sealed completely. The opening was covered with a silky thin black fabric, which enabled the lady clown to pass through it easily, as you can see in this illustration. The lady jumped in, passing through the black fabric placed at the end of the box and the fabric covered back. Let's have a look at this stage divider the PHOBIAS used. On stage, the large board was used as a divider, and it also served as a background. Different posters of them were printed all over it. The board had a secret door at the bottom of it. If you look closely, you'll notice that all the borders of the posters printed had a mixture of red and white colors. The secret door was at the bottom of the board, had a black border, which made it to be easily identified by the lady clown, as you can see in the illustration. When the lady jumped through the box, she landed inside the big trousers of her colleague. Immediately, she opened the secret door at the bottom of the board, and escaped through it to the backstage without the audience noticing, which gave the impression that she had vanished from the scene. The escape was also concealed by her colleague's heavy costume, blocking the view of the audience. Replaying the video frame by frame, you can see how she passed through the box and the black fabric covered instantly. Next, the Rubik's Cube's magic. Sophia was given the Rubik's Cube taken from the wooden box to mix. After mixing the cube randomly, one of the phobias collected the Rubik's Cube and exchanged it with another gimmicked Rubik's Cube, which had worms inside of it. If you look closely, you will see how he held the cube downward to the box, blocking the camera angle. He quickly exchanged the Rubik's Cube. One of the phobias placed a tray on the judge's table and brought out the gimmicked cube and poured the worms on the tray, giving the impression that the Rubik's Cube had transformed to worms. The tray placed in front of the judges was a magnetic metallic plate. The gimmicked Rubik's Cube here was also made with a metallic foil. The inside of the foil had the same design and color with the tray placed in front of the judges. When one of the clowns placed the gimmick Rubik's Cube on the tray, you can clearly see how the foil opened and got magnetized to the tray, matching the same color of the tray before the worms were disposed on the tray. This gave the impression that the Rubik's Cube had been transformed to worms. On getting back to the stage, one of the phobias went to the chair and rolled his hand through the chair. This was not just a mere touch. The chair was designed by the phobias with a compartment in it, which had flap zipped up at the top of the chair. One of them went to the chair, unzipped the flap as if he was just rolling his hand over it. The flap on the chair was connected to a remote controlled held by their assistant off stage. Also, the doll that appeared had a flashlight installed in its eyes, which was also connected to the remote control held by the assistant. When both of them pointed to the chair, their assistant immediately pressed the remote control, which opened the flap, making the doll to appear with a spark of flashlights in its eyes. Let's have a second look at it. When one of the phobias went closer to the chair, it was observed clearly that the seat of the chair was lower than its frame, instead of being above. Also, the lightings on the stage was brighter, but after the flap was unzipped, the lightings were reduced to conceal the opening of the flap. When the remote control was pressed, you can see how the flap opened. Take a look at the seat once again. Can you notice that the seat, which was below the frame before, is now above the frame, indicating that there was a flap had flipped over to the seat? Next, the half lower body walking without the upper part being visible. This is a simple trick that has been done by several illusionists and street magicians. The table there had a compartment where the upper body of the person was concealed. The waist scene is just a dummy, giving the impression that the upper body was cut off. But in reality, the upper body was hidden inside the compartment in the table. In this illustration, you can see how the upper body was taken out of the compartment. If we look closely at the table, as the clown was stamping the legs, its body raised the cover of the table slightly, indicating that the upper body was hidden inside the compartment. On the lower body of the lady not visible, the phobias gave the impression that the lady's lower body was cut off. But in reality, the lower body was hidden inside the compartment in the trolley. The compartment in the trolley was made wide enough such that it can contain a complete human being. Her legs were hidden inside the compartment, and her body posture indicated that she was sitting sideways inside the compartment, folding her legs. Lastly, when one of the clowns went inside the large wooden box on stage, an explosive canister was connected and given to him. The switch was pressed and the canister exploded. Before the explosion, a heavy floodlight was seen descending to a level closer to the stage background, such that when switched on, it can give a heavy flashlight to the stage background. You can clearly notice that before the lady clown pressed the switch of the canister, the heavy floodlight was switched on already, which beamed a heavy flashlight to the background before the lady switched on the canister to explode. The phobias did this to give the impression that the explosive was very powerful, which can tear the human body into pieces. When the box was opened, one of the phobias inside the box vanished and reappeared in front of the judges. But how was this act executed? The box there had 2 separate compartments with a flap separating it. When one of the clowns entered the box was closed. The clown inside the box moved into the second compartment at the back and placed explosive canister in the first compartment, and then he closed the flap. When the switch was pressed, the canister exploded. When the box was opened, clown disappeared. The clown was chilling inside the second compartment, probably with a bottle of beer. If you take a second look throughout the act, the phobias were more than 3. The one that was with the box at the beginning of the show, the one that inserted his hand through the lady's jacket, the lady and one of them which lower half body was affixed to the table, which we know was a complete human. Immediately after the explosion, another clown passed through the backstage and presented himself to the judges as the clown that was in the box during the explosion, giving the judges and the audience the impression that he teleported from the box after the explosion. Now you understand the secret behind this amazing act by the phobias. If you would like to see more magic reveals like this, please encourage us by subscribing to our channel and also like and share our videos.